So right behind me is the USC Pacific Asia Museum. This was both the residence and where all of the collections existed for a woman named Grace Nicholson. Grace was an extraordinary person. She came here from Philadelphia in the early 1900s with a small inheritance and opened up a curio shop. Early on, she developed an interest in Native American art and artifacts. Her early shop sold baskets and other Native American art and artifacts. She would go on trips to the Southwest and buy things there, sell them here. But as you can tell, this building that we're looking at has more of a Chinese vibe to it. So in the ensuing decades, she became fascinated with East Asia. And she began importing and going and collecting art and artifacts from China, from Taiwan, from Korea, from Japan, bringing them back here, housing them, showing them off, and selling them. And also sponsoring artists from all over the place to sell their wares here as well. So Grace Nicholson hired the firm of Marston, Pelt and Maybury. They were bigwigs in Pasadena architecture at the time, to build this Chinese-inspired building. In 1924, the back section, which has Nicholson's quarters in it, they're now galleries, opened. And then in 1929, the courtyard section opened. So it was immediately hailed as a total masterpiece. It's completely distinctive compared to everything else in the area. And it's also just a fantastic example of Chinese architecture in America. So you gotta see it to believe it. So let's go take a look. This arched entrance is apparently patterned after a Buddhist library. An exact copy. So this building has had a lot of different lives from the time that it opened in 1929. And the wonderful thing is that the way it's operated now is very much in keeping with Grace Nicholson's vision for it. So when she was alive, up until 1948, this was a set of art galleries, but also shops where you could buy some of the art. And upstairs they had meeting spaces for different kinds of cultural institutions. And Grace Nicholson also lived upstairs. In 1943, she basically gave it to the city of Pasadena, and the Art Institute of Pasadena turned it into the Pasadena Art Museum in the mid-50s. Eventually, the Pasadena Art Museum would move to the Norton Simon. In the early 1970s, the Pacific Culture Foundation moved in, and they turned it into the Pacific Asia Museum. And in 2013, USC took over, and it is still the Pacific Asia Museum operated by USC right now. So I love how there's such an incredible continuity between how Grace Nicholson envisioned the purpose of this building and how it's being used right now. It's still celebrating the art and culture of East Asia and beyond. It's still a place of learning and a place of peacefulness. It's just really nice and quiet in here. And you can just while away a couple hours checking out every detail of the building and all the wonderful galleries that they have inside. Thanks for doing LA with me.